Thanks for tuning in. Muscle cars have had a significant impact on American automotive history and culture. These cars attract collectors to the extent they purchase them at a good price even when covered in dust and rusting away. In this episode, we'll review barn-find muscle cars that brought the American muscle car history back to life. Please stay tuned and be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel as we get into the countdown. Number 20. 1970 Plymouth Superbird. The 1970 Plymouth Superbird was a short-lived, highly modified version of the Plymouth Roadrunner. It came with a 426 Hemi 440 Super Commando or 440 Commando engine. The Superbird was one of the first muscle cars designed with an elongated nose, tall tail fins, and retractable headlights. It had a top speed of 200 miles per hour and could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.8 seconds. Surprisingly, due to its speed, it was banned from NASCAR after one season. One lemon twist yellow Superbird was found in Indiana with its original 444 barrel and 727 torque flight transmission. Much of the sheet metal was in place, but buried in body filler. The original vinyl top was removed and someone attempted to finish the roof in body color, which Chrysler did not do from the factory. Number 19. 1971 Dodge Charger SE. The 1971 Dodge Charger was built as part of a farewell tour for the muscle car era and to introduce a new look for the Charger. The SE had replaced RT packages that were offered as options and in rarity. One car enthusiast and CEO of Cobra Tire, Wade, received a call from his friend. The friend had owned a 1971 Charger SE but had let it sit for 15 years and was finally ready to let it go. Wade struck the deal and took the 1971 Dodge Charger SE with its original 383 cubic inch wedge. After driving it for some time, he decided to offer it up for sale for $20,000. And the Charger SE ended up at a happy new home. Number 18. 1963 Pontiac Tempest Superduty. Pontiac produced the Tempest from 1960 to 1970 and again from 1987 to 1991. The 1963 Pontiac Tempest Superduty was built specifically to compete in the National Hot Rod Association Factory Experimental class. It was based on the Tempest platform, utilizing a powerful Superduty 421 cubic inch engine and lightweight modifications to achieve maximum speed on the drag strip. Only a very limited number of these cars were produced by Pontiac, making them highly sought after by collectors today. Thankfully, one of these rare muscle cars was discovered, almost ending up in the crusher. The owner decided to reduce the scrap from the garage, and one of them was his 63 Tempest Superduty. When he was about to get the $200 from the scrap yard, his younger son decided it wasn't worth it. He took some photos and put them up on eBay's auction site instead. As word spread, it readily became apparent that this was no ordinary 1963 Tempest, but 106 for the National Hot Rod Association's Superstock competition with a ton of super rare equipment, most notably a 421 cubic inch Superduty V8. The engine was missing, but the car had a bunch of lightweight aluminum body parts. Over the auction time, Pontiac experts examined the photos from eBay, and the bidding soared from $500 to $226,521.63. Number 17. 1965 Malibu SS 396 Z16. The 1965 Chevy Malibu SS 396 Z16 was a rare and highly sought-after limited edition car. Only 201 units were built in Kansas City, Missouri between February and April of 1965. These cars were only available to celebrities and dealers. The car had a 396 cubic inch V8 engine producing 375 horsepower and a 4-speed manual transmission. One Chevy Malibu SS 396 was discovered after it was driven into a salvage yard in 1976 and sold for scrap. The yard owner pulled all the Z16 specific items and stored them inside while the rest of the car was left outside. At some point, he decided to restore the car, but the body was separated from the frame. The chassis was moved indoors and partially restored, but the body was left outside for almost 40 years where it sank into the ground and was damaged by forklifts. In 2019, the body was reunited with the chassis. Number 16. 1971 Plymouth Cuda Convertible. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda was designed to be affordable and compact with a powerful engine. Plymouth wanted to demonstrate the Cuda's power against other muscle cars like the Mustang, Camaro, and Javelin. Plymouth built a few E-body convertibles that remain much desirable muscle cars to date. One of the 87-built triple white 383-powered convertibles with a torque flight automatic was recently spotted on a number of E-body Facebook forums when it was for sale. The new owner displayed it with a set of new Krager wheels and Polyblast GT tires. However, when it was listed for sale, it was riding on its original wheel and hubcap combination. one of which was on display at the show. Everything was tired and rusty. Number 15. 1969 Dodge Daytona. The 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona was a limited edition high-performance version of the Dodge Charger built to win NASCAR races. It was designed to be faster than the Charger 500 by 5 miles per hour per lap. This Charger had a knife-edged nose cone, a tall rear wing, and a 440 Magnum or 426 Hemi engine. In November 2015, Charlie Lyons of Charlie's Classic Cars in Alabama discovered one of the 503 1969 Dodge Daytonas. Lyons, a competent expert restorer and fan of muscle machinery, had always desired to own and restore a 1969 Daytona. After hearing a rumor of one in a nearby town, he went to check it out. The owner vowed never to sell it, but Lyons kept his contact info and kept in touch in a friendly way. After much soul-searching, Charlie let it go at a Mecum auction for $90,000. Number 14. 1970 Boss 429 Mustang. The Boss 429 was produced in limited numbers in 1969 and 1970. The 70 model was significant because it was a limited production designed primarily to allow Ford to homologate its powerful semi-Hemi 429 cubic inch V8 for NASCAR racing. Lyons discovered one of 499 1970 Boss 429 Mustangs that was even featured in Super Ford magazine during the 1980s when it was still an actively driven and modified ride. The owner's hometown in Alabama was even published in the story, proving that barn-find leads can even be hiding in plain sight. Number 13. 1969 Yenko Camaro. The 1969 Yenko Camaro is considered a highly sought-after classic muscle car because it was a specially modified Chevy Camaro built by Don Yenko's dealership. It featured a powerful Corvette Source 427 cubic inch big block, making it one of the fastest and most desirable Camaros of its time. One of the few Yenko Camaros was all over the internet for a few decades. It was first brought to light back in the late 1990s when it was spotted sinking into the mud in the owner's front yard. The car was restored at some point and has since changed hands. It still wears its original L72 option 427 425 horse engine and manual transmission. Number 12. 1968 Ford Ranchero GT. The 1968 Ford Ranchero GT was built to offer a unique blend of practicality and performance, combining the utility of a pickup truck with the sporty styling and power of a muscle car. The 1968 Ford Ranchero GT was the biggest mystery on display some years back. It was the only one built by Bill Stropp and raced at the Bonneville Salt Flats, powered by a 429 side-oiler. Number 11. 1968 Ford Mustang GT Bullitt. The 1968 Ford Mustang GT Bullitt was built to star in the 1968 film Bullitt, starring Steve McQueen. The car was a marketing campaign for Ford, and the film's success helped launch the Mustang into film history. After the film's release, the whereabouts of the original Bullitt Mustang was unknown for many years. It was eventually discovered in 2017 in a Mexican scrapyard, where it had been hidden away for decades. The car was in rough condition, but Ford acquired it for restoration. Are you ready for our top 10 American barn-find muscle cars? Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, which helps us create more episodes. Number 10. 1964 Shelby 289 Cobra. The 1964 Shelby 289 Cobra was built to provide a high-performance sports car by combining the lightweight and agile British AC chassis with a powerful American V8 engine. One of the cars was found in 2016, several decades after its production ceased. It was sold for a staggering $1,045,000 in 2018, remaining unrestored. Number 9. 1967 Shelby GT500. The 1967 Shelby GT500 was built to be a more powerful version of the GT350 and to compete in races like Le Mans. Carroll Shelby, the designer of the GT500, wanted to create a muscle car that could live up to the Cobra name. One of the GT500s was discovered in Alabama. It was still owned by the person who bought it new, and its odometer read only 57,000 miles. Number 8. 1969 Chevy Camaro Z28. The 1969 Camaro Z28 was a muscle car with a 302 V8, 4-speed manual transmission, and 15-inch rally wheels. Many consider it the top dog when you think of a classic muscle car. Nobody knows exactly how many were produced, and there have been so many tribute cars built to Z28 specifications. One of the original cars was found after sitting since 1979. The owner had bought it in 1974 after his previous Z28 had been stolen. Number 7. 1969 Dodge Charger 500. The 1969 Dodge Charger 500 was built primarily to compete in NASCAR racing. It had unique design features that would allow it to reach higher speeds on the track and meet NASCAR rules. One of the rules was to sell 500 cars to the public, hence the 500 designation. One of these rarest muscle cars was found in the central part of the U.S. One of the farmers there had a bunch of cool cars in his field and barns. Out in his tractor shed in the mud sat a 1969 Dodge Charger 500. Number 6. 1970 Chevelle SS Convertible. The 1970 Chevelle SS Convertible was built to capitalize on the muscle car trend of the 1970s. The SS was a powerful car with a variety of engine options, including the 454 cubic inch V8. One of the rare 1970 Chevelle SS convertibles was discovered sitting in a field. It had been sitting there so long that a tree had fallen and crushed part of it. This vehicle was complete and original. The original owner's brother purchased the car for $7,000 and raced it all over the place. In the 1970s, the car was worn out. He eventually parked it in his neighborhood, and when a neighbor's kid shot out the driver's window, the car was moved to the brother's farm for safekeeping. Number 5. 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. The 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda was a high-performance muscle car with a 426 Hemi V8. It was one of the last muscle cars of the golden era and is now a highly sought-after collectible. One of the purple 1970 Plymouth Hemi Barracudas was discovered sitting in the owner's backyard out west. The owners had taken good care of it as it was covered to prevent weather, although the violet-purple paint had taken a beating. The original 426 Hemi engine was still residing between the front fenders and a manual 4-speed transmission, surrounded by a white interior that rounded out the car beautifully. Number 4. 1966 Chevelle SS 396. The 1966 Chevelle SS 396 was built to compete with other muscle cars and capitalize on the success of the Pontiac GTO. It was the first model and featured a big block Chevy engine. One of the Chevy Chevelles was unearthed from a Virginia hay shed a few years back after sitting there unattended since 1980. It's a piece of local racing history, having been a regular on Highway 103, also known as the Claudeville Highway. Number 3. 1963 Corvette Stingray Split Window. The 1963 Corvette Stingray Split Window was built as a result of the bold styling choices of the Bill Mitchell design team at GM. The split window design was inspired by marine life, particularly the stingray and mako shark. One 1963 Corvette Stingray was discovered sitting in the constant drizzle of coastal Washington state since 1975. It had the original fuel-injected 360 horsepower, 11.25 to 1 compression engine. It was rescued and restored to its original condition. Number 2. 1969 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. The 1969 Shelby GT500 was built to provide the market with a high-performance, powerful, and visually striking muscle car. One of these beasts was spotted in Fawn Grove, Pennsylvania. Gary Morgan spotted it when it was in pretty rough shape. It lacked a few parts here and there, including the taillights. Nowadays, it's a fully restored Shelby in original black jade paint with white stripes. It made its debut at the SAAC 33 Concours Car Show in August of 2008, and it's been on the roads ever since. Number 1. 1964 Ford Mustang Convertible. The 1964 Mustang was built to appeal to a younger generation as a sporty, affordable car. Brian and Steve Nicholas discovered one of these models in their uncle's barn in northwest Alabama. At first, the car lacked most of its bodywork as most of the entire front end was stripped away. The hood was actually the only part of this Mustang's front that was still there, but even the hood itself wasn't the original 64, not to mention all the rust. After countless checks, the car was finally fully restored. The brothers nicknamed the convertible the Flying Squirrel to honor the furry little rascal that sprang out of the trunk when they first opened it. The Flying Squirrel made a few movie appearances, most notably the 2007 film Talk to Me, starring Don Cheadle. Thanks for watching today's episode. Which of these barn-find muscle cars is your favorite? Share with us in the comments section below. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click the like button to show your support and stay updated on our latest episodes.